Hey, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at some easy phrases using the C major pentatonic scale. And we're just going to do 4 different phrases. The 2 chords I use here were C and F, but you could use this over C, like just the C chord if you'd like. Trying to keep it really simple. Now, the issue I find with a lot of people is that when we get started with the pentatonic scales, when we're going through, let's say, A minor, whatever key it might be, our ears get used to the minor sound. And I know this is the case for me. So when I first learned, pentatonics, I did minor all the time. I preferred the sound of minor chords when I was first starting to play. So everything I did was sort of based around the minor sound, whether it was A or B, whatever minor key I was playing in. But when it came to playing major pentatonic phrases, I had a really tough time trying to figure out which notes sounded good and how to actually utilize the scale. So we're going to use the A minor pentatonic scale here, but we're going to use a relative major. We're going to do C major. So in the background, I'm playing C and F. So the note names are the same. We still have A, C, D, E, G, but we start the scale now on C. So we have C, D, E, G, A. Okay, so really the same thing. We're just technically starting on a different note. So your usual A minor pentatonic, exactly what we're doing there. We're going to start on the pinky finger, 8th fret. So pinky finger, index, ring, index, ring, index, ring, index, pinky, index, pinky. Now this note is still there, but we tend to focus on this note because it's the root note of the C chord. So the trick with the major pentatonics is if you hit that A note like we're used to doing with the minor, it'll clash with the C major chord. It won't sound that good. It gives you the major 6. It doesn't really sound that nice to our ears unless we're playing that sort of jazzy 6th sound. But we're trying to focus on just a 3 note like C major. So in this case here, the C note is a really safe note to end on, to end your phrase on. And same with the E. I'm just using the E here because it's the 3rd interval. It sounds good. I did it for one example on these phrases just so you can hear the sound of it. But start off using the scale where you end on a C note. And you'll probably find your phrases will sound a lot better than trying to end on the A. Okay, so first phrase, we're going to do a rest for 1 full measure, I guess we would say. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then rest for 1 more beat. So we have a full measure plus 1 beat, so 5 beats of a rest. And then we start on the 5th fret of the G string. And I'm going to play 5, 7 to 5 on the B string, back down, 7, 5 on the G to 7 on the D. And then when the next chord comes in, which is F, we're going to highlight the C note. Okay, so this is our root note of the scale. Now the cool thing here, because I use C and F, when I went to the F chord, for those of you thinking of the theory here, that note is in the F chord, okay? So the C note is the 5th interval of the F major chord. So that note rings out for a full measure, okay? So full measure, and then we're gonna have a beat of a rest to go to phrase number 2. So that's our first phrase. And slow this down if you need to. Head to the settings on YouTube there and slow it down if you need to watch my fingers in a slower pace. Now the next phrase is very similar. We're going to start on the 5th fret of the A string. And this is going to go back into the C chord. So the final note I'm going to play is an E note. And I'll show you that in a second. We're going to play 5, 7 on the A string. To 5 on the D. Back to 7, 5 on the A. 8th fret on the low E string. And then the final note I'm going to play is the 7th fret on the A string. Now you can just go straight to that note. I find it feels awkward on my fingers if I just go right to it. So I do like to slide into this one. And I'll put that in the notes here. So basically sliding from 6 to 7 with my ring finger. It feels a lot better than just a straight. So the approach note sounds really good. And this goes for almost anything that we're going to sit on. Any note that you're going to land on and let it ring out, if you slide into it, I think it adds a lot of character. So that's something you can practice doing as well. So this new phrase here. And that's over the C chord. And the next phrase here, we're going to go to the 7th fret on the D string. So same thing, it ends on, we'll let that note ring out for a full measure, and then we're going to have a beat of a rest, and we're going to start our next phrase on beat number 2. 7th fret on the D string, 5th fret on the G string, 7 on the D, 5 on the D string, 7 on the A string, 5 on the A string, 8 on the low E, okay? So again, it's going to the C note for the F chord. But again, if you just play like the C chord in the background, a C major Vam, these phrases are going to work over that as well. So just think of this as a C major chord in the background. And I actually slid into that first note, so that can also be something you do, slide into the first note of your phrase. Okay, that's phrase number 3. You'll notice all my phrases as well are starting on the second beat. So I did that intentionally, so we have 6 leading notes or 6 pickup notes going towards the note that we're going to let ring out, so our target note. So in this case here, when we get to that note that rings out, that's when the chord changes, and the note that we're ringing out is in that chord. So it sounds really nice to our ears, right? And those pickup notes sort of lead our ear towards that note that we're working towards. So after the third phrase, the final one, again, that rings up for a full measure, and then a beat of a rest. And then we're going to start on beat number 2 on the first string, 5th fret, to the 8th fret on the B string, 5th fret on the high E, 5th fret on the B string, to the 7th fret on the G string, back to the 5th fret on the B string, and finish on the C note, so fret number 5 on the G. And that's going back to the C chord there too. And I slid into that note too. And you can start your first phrase again. Second phrase. Third phrase. Final phrase. So the whole idea, get used to these phrases. There's 4 phrases, 6 leading notes or 6 pickup notes going into one target note or note that's in a ring out. So 7 notes total for each of those phrases. Once you get those down, try to see if you can make up your own. So think of that like the target note, the final note we're playing. That's the most important one. So you can keep that as a C if you want. And just try to find 6 notes that lead into it. That's a nice exercise for yourself. And it's easier than you think. So instead of trying to improvise this, just try to write it in advance on paper or mentally. And you'll find it's actually quite easy to do once you actually get into it. So if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. I'm definitely here to answer that. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos like this each week, and I'll see you soon.